Raptor fans, we usually start this video with a clap, and some of you might be waiting for a clap to start, but we're going to kind of hit the pause button on that for a second here. And if you probably know what I'm going to talk about, and if you don't, then I don't know where the heck you've been. But earlier today, I think it was this morning or very early afternoon or whatnot, the reports come out that Kobe Bryant was he dies in a helicopter accident. And I mean, seeing the pictures, the videos, and everything, it's never fun to watch, and especially when it's an icon for so many people. I mean, if any of you guys watching play basketball, Kobe Bryant could have been your idol. He could have been the guy that you watched growing up and loved watching, and watching him against the Raptors ain't very fun sometimes with the 81-point game and everything, but he's one of the greatest players of all time, 41 years old, going in a helicopter with his daughter, his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna, and you expect it to be okay. You expect everything to be great. And then in a matter of seconds, it's all gone. And it's been a really weird day, I think, in the NBA. I think you look at the Rockets game earlier against Denver, and there was a lot of emotion in that. You saw the game against the San Antonio game. Lots of emotions getting over, a ton of people. You saw Doc Rivers, his interview. The guy could barely put two words together. The NBA not only lost somebody great, but they lost an icon of basketball. Especially at 41 years of age. It tells you right there, people, that every day you got to live it to the fullest. You absolutely have to. And for me, I do these videos for you guys, not just because of the views and the subscribers and everything. No. You know why I do it? Because I love talking about sports. And you guys like to hear my opinions on sports. So I give them to you. And you guys enjoy that. You know what that makes me feel? It makes me happy. And I feel accomplished that day. If you don't end a day feeling accomplished, you're not going to be able to feel every day like that. But if you do, then it's a successful one. Live every single day to the fullest. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you guys are watching this video and you get to this point, I want you to pause the video right now and go to your family. If you have anybody over, if you live alone, then call somebody and tell them, just talk to them. If you have family members there with you, hug them. Do what you need to do, because you never know any moment of any day what is going to happen. The Bryant family never expected this, but it's reality now. And now he has 3 daughters that have to grow up without a dad. I mean, an earlier report said that all 4 of them were in the helicopter, and that would have been even more ridiculous, even though, right now it's just a really tough time in the NBA. And I'm surprised I held it together, because I did one take already and I couldn't really handle it. So it's been a rough day for sure for a lot of basketball fans and players and the league all around. It's been especially after what happened yesterday, LeBron passing him, passing Kobe Bryant, all the emotions that, and hearing Kobe and all that stuff, and then the next day, bang, he's gone. It just, like I said, it puts into perspective really what you got to do every day. I know this is almost a 4-minute spiel, but I hope you guys enjoyed that part, and I hope I said things well. If you have anything else you want to add down in the comments below, guys, please go do so. All right. You know what? I'm not doing a clap today. I was going to, but I'm like, there's no emotion right now, really. I mean, the Raptors won, and they haven't won in San Antonio since like 2007 or 8, so it's been a very long time coming. And obviously, the Raptors against San Antonio over the last couple of years has been really crazy. We won at home when Kawhi was here, lost in San Antonio for Kawhi, lost by 1 point against them in Toronto, and we win 110-106 against San Antonio today. But like I said, this video might not have a lot of emotion in it, guys, just for the fact of the way this day has been. I mean, you saw how that game went today. Even though it was a tight game late in the ball game, the players just seemed off. It was one of those days where you felt like you lost a family member. I mean, maybe not to that extent, but pretty close to it. And it sucks. All right? So let's get to this ball game. And the Raptors did come out of the gate flying. Everybody kind of came out sluggish, but there's one guy who didn't. And that was Pascal Siakam. Sets a Raptors franchise history. He says a Raptors franchise record. I don't know why I said history. For most points scored in a quarter. Siakam had 25 in the first quarter. Raptors as a team scored 37. Pascal Siakam did score 4 more points than the Spurs altogether. 25 for Siakam and 21 for the San Antonio Spurs. Raptors had a 16-point lead after 1 quarter. We're feeling great here. But now you got to try and hold that lead. And that's been the big issue over the last little while for the Raptors, is being able to hold those leads. And you saw in the second quarter, they kind of chipped away. They were +4, 30-26. So you guys can do some math there. It's down to 12 at halftime, but you still got a double-digit lead at the half. Now you got to come out of the gate in the third quarter and come out flying. They do the total opposite. Raptors can't make shots. They're making every shot they take. At one point, I think it was the early goings of the fourth quarter, or maybe the late part of the third, they only missed 2 threes. They were dialed in. And they win that quarter 34-23. The Raptors offense shooting bricks. They couldn't make shots in that third quarter. You're -11. And, at one point in that third quarter, the Raptors were down by like 5 or 6. And they find a way to cut it down to 1 heading into the fourth quarter. So, again, not very pretty. Or they were up by 1 maybe going into the fourth. I don't know. My math is terrible. You guys can go. It was either way, one point difference. And you go into the fourth, and at one point, San Antonio, they had a 5-point lead there with like 8 minutes to go, 7 minutes to go. But then the Raptors started to dig in a little bit more defensively, as we saw in the early goings of this game. And they find a way to make some shots. I mean, it was a little sporadic at times, but the Raptors did find a way to make some shots down the stretch and able to fend up. They only scored 21. The Raptors in the first and fourth quarters, first and fourth quarter, held them to only, 42 points. That's huge. The problem was you give up 64 in the middle 2 frames. Now, big shots by Siakam, big shot from Van Vliet late. A lot of great defensive possessions there late in this basketball game. It wasn't a very pretty offensive game there in the second half for the Raptors, but the ability to defend late in a basketball game on the road was key to this victory for the Raptors, and they find a way to come up with the victory. Like I said, 110-106. Pascal Siakam, 35 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 assists. Obviously, with 25 points in the first quarter, he does kind of slow down a little bit. Does shoot? He barely shoots. Actually, he shoots under 50%. Just barely over. 12 for 23 from the field. 5 of 11 from 3, 6 of 9 from the free throw line. Had a steal in the ball game, was a +15, was on the floor. Pascal Siakam, we talked about it in the last game against the Knicks, guys. We said he was starting to feel it. He looked comfortable, and he looked like Pascal Siakam. Today, just like the same. Came out guns a-blazing and was able to kind of fend off the San Antonio Spurs. OG Anunoby gave you that little punch off the bench. Or no, I guess in the starting unit, because he's more or less that 5th option in that starting unit. Yeah, Gasol might not take a lot of shots sometimes, but he wouldn't say he's our 5th option. I would kind of say OG is. He had 10 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists today, shot 4 of 8, 2 of 5 from 3, had a steal in the block in the game, +5 while he's on the floor. That's okay for OG for me. If he's going to be the number 5 option and he gives you 10 and 5, I'm never going to complain about OG Anunoby, but it's when he struggles and gets a goose egg or misses all 4 shots, and it's a disaster. Marc Gasol didn't shoot the ball very well, shot 3 of 9, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, and 1 of 6 from 3, but he does what Marc Gasol does. 8 points, he had 12 rebounds and 5 assists. The guy just balls. 36 minutes for Marc Gasol in this one, and he was a +11 while he was on the floor. Kyle Lowry shot 6 of 14 from the field, 1 of 7 from 3. Again, a lot of these, Gasol and Van Vliet combined 2 for 13. Not very pretty there from 3. But again, Lowry, 16 points, 4 boards, 4 assists, had a steal in the ball game, +2 he was on the floor. Did a job today, and I was really impressed with the way Lowry played. Fred VanVleet played 40 minutes, but well-deserved, even though he shot the ball extremely rough. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists for Freddie, 4 of 15 shooting, 3 of 10 from 3, but the 4 steals and a block for Fred VanVleet. That's where this team really dug in near the end and got the job done, and he was a +8 while he was on the floor. Norman Powell off the bench didn't really have the same oomph. Now, obviously, you're not going to be the same every single night. You know that. The question now is, though, with Powell having one off night, what's the next one going to bring, right? Because, yeah, you can have these good games and then these bad games and whatnot, but it's a matter of how you bounce back after a bad game that shows how good of a player and as a team you really are. So for Norman Powell, he had 7 points, 3 boards, couple assists, stayed on 3 of 11 shooting, 1 of 4 from 3, had a steal in the ball game, he was a +1 when he was on the floor, but didn't really give you that extra punch today. And for me, I look at Powell and I'm like, look, you come out there in the next game, which is on Tuesday at home against Atlanta, and you come out, put up 15, 18, 20 points there, then that 7-point performance is completely gone from everyone's mind, and you're right back into your rhythm again. But if he throws up another kind of a rough night, and then it starts building up to 3, 4, 5 games in a row of a rough night for Powell, then you start thinking things, right? So for Powell, he's going to get right back on the horse, get back to shooting, go back to what he does best, not forcing shots, and make his wide open looks. And I think he'll do so no problem in that next game against the Hawks at home. All right, Serge Ibaka, I mean, the guy just always gives you a punch no matter where he plays. 22 minutes for Serge, 12 and 10 off the bench, 4 assists, 6 of 12 shooting, missed the 1-3 he took, but he had 2 steals in the ball game. It was a -5 while he was on the floor, though. Terrence Davis, not bad numbers, but he was a really big minus player. 9 points, 3 boards, and an assist for TD2. 12 minutes while he was on the floor, 3 of 6 shooting for Terrence, knocked down 3 threes. I think all 3 of them were in the first half, if I'm not mistaken, though. Maybe 1 in the second half, not too sure. Had a steal in the ball game, but he was a -13 while he was on the floor. And pray up. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson, guys. I mean, went down, stepped on the guy's foot, ankle goes. You never like seeing that kind of stuff. And for Rondae, played 6 minutes, didn't get a bucket, but he missed the 1 shot, had an assist and a rebound, and he was a -3. But for him, you just gotta hope it's not too bad, because we know the energy that guy brings in the second unit. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with Rondae. And for the Toronto Raptors now, they continue their road winning ways. They've now won 7 straight basketball games, but they've won 7 straight road games. And that's a pretty damn good time. If I'm not mistaken, that ties the second best for the Raptors franchise. I think the best was like 10 or 12 or maybe 11 in that kind of range. But they're at 7 right now, which is an incredible number. I mean, obviously the teams you've played, maybe not the best, but you got to win on the road no matter what. And you're finding ways to win, especially against San Antonio, a place you have not been very successful in the last little while. So a great job by the Raptors coming out today and getting a win. Only shot 41% from the field. However, they showed only 42%. 32% from 3 for the Raptors. Like I said, they really slowed down after halftime. They were dynamite in the first half from shooting 3, but they really had a tough time in the second half shooting the ball. They shot 43% from 3, 16 for 37. And for the free throw line, they were money, 22 for 24. Raptors were 12 of 15 for 80%, not too bad. And the rebounds, it was a much better performance today, much better. 50 to 48 in the offensive glass, or in the rebounding category. In the offensive glass, my goodness, there was a lot of offensive boards at that point. No, 14 to 7 in the offensive boards for the Raptors. They doubled the Spurs in that category, so a really good job crashing the glass for the Toronto Raptors. 31 assists, beautiful. 11 steals to their 5, 2 blocks to their 8. Only 8 turnovers for the Toronto Raptors. If I'm not mistaken, it's back-to-back games with only single-digit turnovers. It is. So that is extremely impressive to see that from the Raptors in back-to-back games, both on the road, the Knicks and now the Spurs. They had 16 turnovers. Points in the paint, the Raptors dominated 44 to 28. Where are we? 19 to 10 in second chance points for the Raptors. They were in the fast break. They were actually +5, 17 to 12. And the points off of those turnovers, we had 20 points off of their 16 turnovers. They had 14 off of our 8. All right, so guys, like I talked about, the next game is on Tuesday against the Hawks at home, 7:30 tip-off there. Raptors look for a win number 8 in a row and look to continue to keep pace there in the Eastern Conference. With the win today, the Raptors technically have sole possession of second place in the Eastern Conference. Obviously, we played one more game than the Miami Heat. Same losses, though, 14 apiece, but with the win today, technically, we're 8 back of Milwaukee. They're 8.5. So right now, the Raptors have sole possession of second place in the Eastern Conference, which is incredible considering how many injuries this team has had this season. All right, so guys, that is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and you want to pray up for Kobe Bryant and all that crazy stuff that happened today, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button if you guys have not already. Oh my goodness. Like button if you like the video and you like the game and all that great stuff. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. That's what I was going for. Comment down below, guys, everything. If you want to give me any comments about the game, go do so. If you want to comment about Kobe, go do so. And also, if I miss anything to talk about in the Kobe section or the game, let me know in the comments below as well. All right. And Twitter is down below for myself, guys. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. Also, Patreon link is down below, so follow up, sign up, do all that great stuff down below if you guys are interested in that. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow. They are back in action, are the Leafs, after a very long layoff. All right, they're back in action there tomorrow night in Nashville, 8 p.m. puck drop there. Raptors. Anderson and Rene are the expected goaltenders in that game tomorrow night. It's going to be a good one. Leafs. Matthews has been sitting out, obviously, for a little while. Didn't play in the All-Star game because of his nagging injury. Marner is going to be back from the All-Star game. So is Freddie, and the team is well rested. Trevor Moore and Jake Muslin will be back, so it's going to be really interesting to see what this team looks like down the stretch. You're now at the informal second half of the season is beginning. So how are they going to perform? We're going to have to wait and see. As for our Raptors, their next game, as we talked about, is on the 28th, which is on Tuesday, 7:30 tip-off at Scotiabank Arena. Raptors welcome the Atlanta Hawks to town, looking for win number 8 in a row. All right, and I think it's ever so doable. You got to find a way to do a job, though. Can't take any team lightly. Go out there and beat the snot out of them and get a win. All right, so thank you guys so much for listening and watching. Hope you guys enjoy the video, and pray up for Kobe.